I'm so used to JSU here for the pronunciations. We'll get to that, Brandon F. There's one that we have to talk about. Line 2, right wing, Pittsburgh. I don't want to get his name. I don't want to stay his name out of the gate because I know I'll blow it. Usually I'm here with JSU and Big T, and I don't have to do anything except talk when I'm spoken to. But I guess I know I'm on time. I'm at the fucking office. I have to be on time. But I'm here with some good dudes, and we may have some more joining. EJ may join. Matty Ice may join. It's tough at 4 o'clock for some people to do a live show, and we don't do these a tremendous amount because of, NHL contests aren't the big ones. But tonight we got a big one, and so I got 2 big guys here from the RPS team and Discord. Saul Goodman, everyone knows him. Quick Party, a genius in the data streets for us, and added such a huge element to the Discord chat. I've always loved his sheets. I brought them up here on the previous show. I may refer to them tonight. But what's up, boys? Adam, Quick
How's
Party.
It going?
Good. It's good to see you in person.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever done this with you before.
It was always the first time. Quick Party, there's Bobby Boom. Bobby Boom's already up there.
Classic Bobby.
Classic Bobby. Sorry I'm on time, folks. And Saul G, what's up, baby?
Not much, man. Me and Bobby have been getting along lately, so things are good.
See, that's the church of RPS. You come there to be rehabbed, and everyone gets along for the most part. 888 tonight, 100K up top, pretty flat payouts. Are you? I'm satisfied with the contest. I maybe wanted 150 just to be different. What do you think about it, Saul? I know you've got 18 in there.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think they could do this once a month. They ran a ton of satellites for it. I'm looking now, it's 545 of 625. So
they're going to fill it.
It seems to be pretty appropriately sized for the amount of tickets they gave out. So, I hope they keep doing it. And I honestly, a huge difference for me with this 20% up top instead of 33% or more up top. It doesn't really change the way I would build, but it's just nice to know that like a blocked shot is going to be a $50,000 difference, not a $140,000 difference at the end of the day. So it's good. I give DraftKings a lot of grief when they fuck things up, but also happy to tell them when they do things well, and I think this is a good one.
Yeah, I was as I hand built my first lineup, I took Connor Murphy out, and I'm like, his one block shot is going to cost me a lot of money because Connor Murphy's like a Jake McCabe.
He might get 7 though. Then you'd win a lot of money.
He's had, Quick Party, the Sheets King. Any thoughts tonight before we go into it?
No, nothing crazy. It's nice to see contests are like actually good for once.
It's funny. I was thinking about construction tonight compared to NFL last night. I'm getting smoked in Classic because of injuries and because Tommy Cutlets, thank you New York, Saul, is the greatest quarterback in the NFL. So go Giants. I've never wavered on my Giants. But with NHL, if you don't play, the projections, as Adam knows, are extremely difficult to nail because there's so much variance. You don't have one set of lines like a quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, playing 99% of the snaps or even 80% of the snaps. You've got 3 to 4 lines deep and then 3 defensive pairing. And then with that, you've got the construction of power plays, which is, advantages for penalties. And so while it's difficult to duplicate lineups, and you shouldn't be afraid of chalk, there are moments that you cannot project. But if you get it, like last night, what was Okposo? 2,700 for Buffalo?
Yeah. He was cheap. Yeah.
He was cheap. And I put him in my one lineup, and it nuked. it nuked. He went 27 points. He had 2 goals and assist, or a goal and 2 assists. And in this contest tonight, what are we thinking? 180 points takes it. That's a big score.
I'd say lower than that, probably.
160.
Yeah, there's not enough people for
150-ish,
yeah. Only 600 something people probably don't need to be that perfect, but it depends. I mean,
Is Circle the Drain playing?
Yeah, he's in there
Because he had a 187 on a random night.
Yeah, he'll probably be near the top as usual. Yeah, I mean, I think just overarching Slate thought is, I think that the decision point number one for everybody's lineup is going to be, should I play Edmonton or not, and then kind of go from there. So I'm sure we'll get to that, but I think that's the big scary monster that's lurking.
So with the NFL, we're looking at 5 points per 1,000, and for a good team and potentially a winning team in a big contest, in a max contest. Here, we're looking at 3 points per 1,000. Plus, you were probably going to need a nuke guy, and that's the Matthewses, the McKinnons. He's not on the slate. McDavid, Kucherov, low owned tonight. Eichel, low. He's kind of not a nuke, but he's still low owned tonight.
Okposo.
Kyle
Okposo. Yep.
He got me 2 more tickets, baby. All right, so I'm going to pull up your sheet. I will pull up this sheet, Adam.
All right.
I'm not going to go through the whole sheet, but I'll show you what we're looking at tonight. Share screen, not that sheet, but this sheet. There you go. Because look what it is. This is the game, and I may play none of this tonight. Hang on. I got to change the brand here. Usually I have JSU doing this. Hang on. That might be it. There you go. Yep. All right. So for those new to NHL, we got a lot to look at. There's actually a lot of data to look at, and these are the things we have at RPS for every member. These are where I start. Every slate, I'm looking at correlations with power plays. Purple being that's power play 1, green being, what would you call that? Teal? Mint?
It's almost cyan, maybe. I don't know.
That's bullshit. It's not cyan.
I can tell you, it is close to light blue is what it's called.
Blue. Perfect. Yeah. Not cyan. But you have power play 2. That's a consideration. What 33% of goals are scored in the power play. I think I have that stat in my library. Or if not, you just make it up. Yeah. And so you're looking at options for correlation in terms of that with the defensive pairings as well. But in slates like this, right, Saul, I mean, in a 2-game slate, yeah, I think it's more highly correlated because there's going to be less goals scored and you need the secondary assist guys. But I can't pay $6,500 for a 5-point night or even a 10-point night in this slate. You need the goal scorers. You need the guys that are going to run it up, right?
Yeah, I mean, what is it, a 10-game slate? I mean, I think the more games there are, the more sort of perfect you need to be. Kind of a weird way to put it, but I think the less games are on a slate, the more you can get cute with like five player stacks from the same team, mixing and matching different lines, trying to do different stuff on like 2, 3, 4 gamers. For me on 10 gamers, something like this, I think I'm probably doing mostly, just in terms of the construction, it'll probably be mostly like 4-3-1s or 3-3-1-1s. Like sometimes in like the 5, 6, 7 game range, I'll do like
describe what those are. 4-3-1s.
Yeah. So like a 3-man stack, a 4-man stack. So like using the Rangers for an example, if I wanted to do like a 4-man power play stack, I might take Kreider from line 1, Trocheck and Panarin from line 2, and then maybe Adam Fox as a defenseman. So that would be the 4, and then 3 players from another line or power play unit on another team, and then
on a
one
different
random.
game, not necessarily in
Yeah,
hockey.
could be. Yeah, not necessarily. Like some people like to do a run back in hockey. I'm not. I don't necessarily love that idea because to me it's like if I'm playing a team, there's one puck and they don't have to alternate like they do in football. So the scoring doesn't necessarily breed more scoring. Like it might, but it doesn't have to. So yeah, I would usually go to a different line in a different game. It could be a game stack though. Like I think you could talk about game stacks for a couple different games tonight, but most likely 3-man stack from a different game, and then a one-off, which can be a forward or a defenseman depending on what your other stacks look like, and then a goalie. I mean, we've talked about goalies a lot. Some people like to spend up on goalies. I'm not one of them. Mostly looking for shots and hoping to God that tonight's the night they stop them.
You cannot fuck up goalie though. That's the thing. I mean, you can't have a 9-point goalie tonight in this slate. Well, unless if your guy's nuke, maybe you can't have a negative goalie.
But it also. I mean, it's hard to figure out what the right goalie is, right? Because if you take the big favorite, they're probably only going to see 24 shots or something like that. And if they allow 3 goals, even if they win, that's not a great outing. Whereas if you take a guy who's going to see 40 shots and they allow 3 goals and lose, that's going to be more points, So it's goalie is as close to like team defense in football, I think, as we can get probably, where it's like you just kind of hope that it goes well and there's some good plays, but nobody really can project it too accurately.
And so, Adam, on these sheets, and Matty Ice is coming aboard, by the way, so we got a 4-man here in a second, which is good. But I'll pull these down because we just go through the games quickly and talk about some plays. But when we're looking at this data, I'm looking for, if you look at Austin Matthews on the left, 21 minutes time on ice. Okay, he spends a lot of time on ice as a forward. And he does a lot when he's on the ice. He shoots a lot and he scores a lot. And so that's why he's an expensive play. But at any point, any night, except for tonight, because they partied in New York last night, probably, right? I mean, the drive from the island at UBS to New York, I did that a few months ago, racing at Belmont, and I'll never do that again. I mean, they got to be a little gassed heading into the city, have a couple, cocktails downtown, Saul. But on any given night, Matthews can score 2 to 3 goals. And so HTCF, describe that, Adam. High danger.
Those are high danger scoring chances. So basically, if you drew like a little triangle in front of the net, it's any shots from like, I think about 6 feet out. Generally, those are that's what leads to goals.
Yes. And
obviously guys like Matthews can score from anywhere on the ice, but it's a lot harder to stop a shot that's that tight in, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. And then I'll leave it on this. And by the way, even on these sheets, we're looking at referee A and referee B, which you have these up, right? Yes, it's how many penalties they call per game. Because again, you want power plays, you want advantages like that for more scoring. And then what was I going to look at here just now? Oh yes, expect like at line 3 Toronto, for instance, Yarncroke and Domi. Actually, the first lineup I ever played against Saul head-to-head in cash and hockey, it was Max Domi, and he scored in 5 seconds. Do you remember that? I thought about that today.
I think I tried to block that out of my brain, so no, I don't remember it.
And you tweeted that I was a fish, which, fair. But 2.71 expected goals for, 4.19 actual goals for. You're looking for differentials like that in terms of what a line can produce based on what they should produce. So a ton of data. We won't go through all of it because we have limited time. We're going to bring Matty Ice on. Matty Ice is a key cog in our – hang on a second, boys. There we go. In our Discord with QP and Saul. Now, bing bong. Here we go. There you go, Matt. There he is. What's up, brother? You can join.
What's going on, fellas?
Ken's
Yeah,
on.
I went and picked up my little guy from school, so I got about a half hour, 45 minutes here before I got to go pick up my oldest from hockey. So I figured I'd hop on.
That's what we got. I think instead of going through game by game, because that could take hours. Talk about. Well, let's start on the goalie side. I'm not a spend-up goalie person. Ingram looks interesting to me against Pittsburgh. Urson against Nashville. Did Nashville play last night? Or
No.
They played 2 nights ago. Urson on the road. Phillies, they got a good defense. They play tough. Nashville, they got one good line, but Urson's had some good games. He's 7K. He makes a lot of things work. 7-1 for Ingram. I think a lot of people will go there. Where are you going first with goalie Matty Ice?
I think in GPPs, I'm a spend down guy. Cash games, I play it a little bit different. Like cash games, I'll usually spend up for somebody I'm fairly confident in who's going to get the win. He's not going to have like slate breaking upside. You can say like last night I played Ottinger, from Dallas in cash games just because I felt the most confident with them winning. In cash games, for me anyways, I would start with Skinner. But in GPPs, I'm with you. I like Samuel Urson. I don't mind Mackenzie Blackwood. I think the Sens are going to beat the Canes tonight, so I don't mind Korpisalo. But GPPs, I'm typically a spend down guys. One of these cheaper guys is going to, right, like we've talked about before, similar to a pitcher, right? You're going to have somebody out there who's hot, who's going to make 30, 35 saves and break the slate. I think Urson is going to be my favorite in GPPs tonight.
Quick Party's an unapologetic Sens fan, so he liked hearing that.
Yeah, love to hear that. Although I don't trust Korpisalo myself, but I like the enthusiasm.
Like I'm a Leafs fan. I want to trust Martin Jones, but I don't trust the Leafs, so I'm not going to trust him. I like the Blackwood take, so I'll get your take here. But Winnipeg is now without one of the best players in the NHL, Kyle Connor, on a vicious knee-to-knee. I forget who hit him.
Ryan Strome.
It was Strome, yeah. Then Scheifele fought him, got waxed.
It was a dirty, dirty hit. It was very intentional.
There's been a lot of dirty violence in NHL lately that I haven't seen, and a lot of fighting. Cousins' hit was egregious. But, without that top winger on line one for Winnipeg, Blackwood could be a play. What do you think on goalie, Saul?
Yeah, and I think Matty's comparison to a baseball pitcher is interesting to me because I agree with it in one sense where, you can, like, for example, tonight with Blackwood, and even if you have giant balls, Peter Mrazek, like, there's going to be a ton of chalk on Winnipeg now with Connor out because they're going to be so cheap, and there's going to be obvious chalk with Edmonton. So, whereas I guess the difference though in baseball, like most of the time those guys are, the baseball hitters are chalk because the pitcher sucks, right? Very rarely will, the Braves they may not be like the winning stack for a specific baseball slate, but it's very rarely that the opposing pitcher is going to be like, he's going to get 40 DraftKings points. He's just not going to strike them out. He's not like, they may hit rockets at the fielders and not succeed, but the pitcher won't be the beneficiary most likely. Whereas here, if Winnipeg takes 40 shots or if Edmonton takes 50 shots, in hockey, the goalie has a very reasonable chance to break the slate at A, low ownership, and B, taking out 20, 25, 30% of the field with them. So I will be sprinkling in some of these guys like Blackwood, maybe one Mrazek, but it's an interest, and Ingram too, because Pittsburgh is going to be pretty chalky too. So like for hockey specifically, when I'm looking at GPP goalies, I like guys that are going to see a lot of shots, and then I'll give kind of like a mental bump to, okay, who are the chalk stacks and who's the opposing goalie. And if they're not horrendous, I'll take some shots with them.
Yeah, because 35 saves is kind of the watermark we want to hit with the bonus.
Yeah.
And you can even give up a couple of goals and lose at that point and still have
Yep.
a pretty good goalie. I think Mrazek should be more like 6'4".
Yeah, that's a tough one. Mrazek's a tough one because Edmonton. But like,
amazing.
really, if Edmonton only scores, let's think like if you think about it this way, if they only score 3, like he doesn't necessarily need a shutout. If he goes 36 for 39, Edmonton probably didn't get there, so that's like 25% of the people out. Plus now you have your 2% Mrazek scoring 20 points. Like, it's a pretty good start. So but it's not for the weak of heart though. Like he could also get negative 40.
Correct. Yeah.
Were you, and you've seen that before too. You had a starting. It's a pin.
Yeah, it's in my Twitter banner. Yeah,
you had a starting goalie that was doing worse than the opponent who played the backup who wasn't playing.
Absolutely.
You can go negative real quick. Quick party. Did you say Wolf today? I thought you'd say Lion today.
Should be Wolf for Calgary. Yeah.
It's Wolf. They confirmed that.
Did you like Wolf?
I don't personally like Wolf. I think Calgary's a wash team on a back-to-back, and I don't think Wolf's very good.
Maybe I thought you said
I like
Lion.
Lion, who plays for Detroit.
Starting or Lion?
It's not confirmed.
Okay.
So I don't like Husso because he's 200 more than Lion. But honestly, the best play on the slate to me is Vasilevsky at 7,600 is, I mean, he's the best goalie in the world.
I agree. He is by far the best goalie in the
Just
world.
to see him at that price tag is unbelievable.
I think Kucherov's a good play too. 8,000 for a guy who can nuke, a spin off of Connor McDavid, and he's going to be 2% owned.
He's 9,400, but yes.
It's 94 Canadian, 84.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So, see, when you don't know something, you make it up.
Hey, QP, did you see anything on Hedman? I know they said they were going to skate him at practice, but I didn't hear nothing after that.
I'm expecting him to be out.
Yeah,
They called up a D-man this morning, and Sergachev practiced on the top PP yesterday.
Okay, that's what I thought as well.
The move to defense now. So my model is 2-2-2 and find a couple of punt defense. Punt meaning extremely cheap that can go off for 12 or more. It sometimes works out, but I'm always chasing, aggressively the big forwards, the big line ones. So hoping they nuke and I get 12 points from like a Connor Murphy. We were talking in our little chat before the show, and I think we agree on a few. Vlasic won for Chicago. He's on the first power play, which is good. He's had a few good nights. He does things.
Wiley, a caveat to that. I mean, not that DFO is the end-all, be-all, but they're showing Philip Ruse on the top power play. I don't know what to even say about that. I think Vlasic is by far the most talented of their offensive guys. Either way, I think Vlasic is going to play a ton tonight.
What do you think?
I don't know why Philip Ruse would be on the top power play. That seems a little odd to me. I don't know what QP thinks.
I think it's going to be Vlasic on the top power play, but
I do as well.
Yeah, like there's nothing actually reported, so
okay,
DFO's just kind of
DFO just sometimes
spaghetti at the wall kind of.
Yeah, they just kind of push it at the wall, and you're like, okay.
But what you want from a D-man is a guy who spends a lot of time on the ice or a fair amount of time, but does things. And that may sound stupid, but you want him to block shots because if you get a 3-shot bonus, it's pretty significant. Guys who do that religiously are a Jake McCabe, are a Connor Murphy, not on a power play for Chicago, who I like a lot. It was always 3-2, cheap, worth it. And then shoot. They're a very expensive defenseman. I know Saul's a big Roman Yossi. Fuck, is it Josie or Yossi?
You got it. You got it.
That was a test. Very good. Ferraro, a huge fan of Ferraro. I know you are too, Adam, for San Jose. because he spends a lot of time on the ice. He blocks everything. I think he's second or third in the league in block shots. And he scores from time to time.
Don't know if his price tag's worth counting on block shots, but
nope.
You could probably play QP's boy Hutton again tonight. With they got another guy.
Ben Hutton is on my first team.
Yeah,
that's a fact. So Ben Hutton on the Vegas power play 2. He does a lot of shit. He blocks shots. I think he scored a goal in the last 2 games, but he's a 10, 11 point potential guy. Where are you going? Where are you going defense first? I always talk about the punts. You know, is it Riker Evans on Seattle? But where are you going, Saul?
Yeah, I like the punt D thing too. I've been trying to think a little more critically about when I'm MMEing and I'm using an optimizer, it's kind of let the opto do the work for me. But like tonight, I'll be building my lineups like a gentleman by hand, and I've been trying to think a little more critically about
not playing shitty players,
not playing bad players, but like I'll give an example of what I'm about to say. So like if you take Edmonton, right? Majority of people I think are just going to say, okay, McDavid, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins. Then they'll find a second line. Then they'll pick a goalie. Then they'll pick 2 defensemen that fit with the $7,000 they have left. And they'll just pick 2 guys and go off. Where I think people can maybe gain an advantage from a construction point of view is you could throw Evan Bouchard in there and leave off maybe Nugent Hopkins, for example, which takes one of the D-men slots for a guy that's got, maybe higher upside than Nugent Hopkins. And then, so it sort of flips it and forces you to find maybe a one-off forward instead who may be a good goal scorer. So maybe like where the majority of builds might have, I don't know, Nugent Hopkins and Adam Larson or Ferraro or somebody like that.
Yeah.
Where you might consider, okay, I'll have Bouchard and I don't know, one of the Sharks guys who can score a goal or 2, or the cheap guy on Pittsburgh. So I would just kind of think about like where it makes sense, and it mostly would make sense if there's a top line that has a weaker third link, and also that same team has a pretty good defenseman. So like I would, Edmonton for me is a pretty good example of that. I've done it with like Nashville, where I've actually left off O'Reilly a little bit because he's felt expensive to me. So I've done like a Forsberg, Nyquist, Yossi thing. So I've been kind of messing around with that a little bit. So I think people should maybe just kind of keep that in mind, because I think the default, even for me, who I play every day, is like, okay, let me figure out my first line, my second line, then my D and my goalie, and maybe including the defenseman in there might lead to some different builds that might have a better ceiling and might take you away from like the cookie cutter stuff that everyone else is doing.
My first will always be cheap goalie, which I think it's possible tonight, and then 2 guys with upside on defense who do things that are in the there's a $2,500 defenseman tonight that I will play.
I have a question for Saul and QP because I'm just curious what their thoughts are on this. So like you were just talking about Bouchard, right? And like basically sort of your roster construction. Do you ever think about, in-game game theory on how a game's going to go? Like, would you consider not playing Bouchard? Say you think this game's going to be 6-1 Edmonton. Do you consider playing a guy like Darnell Nurse, who's probably going to see 25 to 30 minutes if they have a lead? Or is it just strictly I want to get the guys on power play 1 and look at it that way? Because like I think Darnell Nurse is a great play tonight. He's going to get a ton of ice. He gets some power play work. He's going to work the PK. Like I don't know. I'm trying to look at Edmonton any way different than everybody else is, because if I feel like everybody's doing the same damn thing. It's going to be Connor, Hyman, Sergachev. Like, everybody's just going to be hammering in those guys over and over and over again. I think you just got to find a way to be a little bit contrarian tonight.
Yeah, I like Nurse almost all the time, that whenever Edmonton's playing. And I think your point about trying to figure out the game flow is a pretty good one. I think it's a little tougher in I always find it tough, because if it is 6-1, then how do they score the 6, right? Even if Bouchard sees 17 minutes, he might have a goal and 2 assists already. So
sure,
it's tough. But the Nurse thing, I definitely like Nurse, and I'll probably have him a pretty decent bit tonight.
Beautiful, because I'm high on him as well.
I think the Panthers defense, there's one of 3 or maybe 4 that I think is value tonight. I think that I'm big on the Panthers over Seattle. I think this team is the biggest value to me if you're looking at pricing like you do for hand building in NFL. Ekblad, Mikkola even, Montour a little bit more expensive, but line one.
But Montour's been absolutely terrible though since he's come back. He has not been good.
No, I think that's probably my least favorite of them.
But he's probably going to be extremely low owned.
Right. I can have Barkov at that price, sub 7K on an island, or with Montour, and be unique out of the gate. QP, any thoughts? You love your punt defenseman. You have that in your sheet.
I generally don't actually love punt defensemen. I just try to go for more.
Everyone goes to that point on your sheet.
So like $3,000 to 4,500 ish in a good spot, right? So like someone like Sergachev, 4,600, probably playing power play 1 tonight. I mean, obviously, like Maddie said, he's going to be super popular. But generally, that's kind of what I'm looking for, is somebody who's either seen an uptick in ice time in the last like couple games, like Jake Sanderson, another guy, 4,600, top power play.
I think that whole like
minutes
4K
and, like,
range is sweet.
Yeah, I love that range. So generally, I don't actually punt defensemen unless it's like a tiny slate.
Riker Evans, no, can't interest you.
I don't think you need to go that low tonight. Like, I get it. If you want to use Edmonton 1 and Kucherov, you're going to end up with Riker Evans, and you're going to end up with, I don't know, Braden Schneider or Jalen Chatfield or something.
You need to do line 4 on your sheet, because this is the assumption that punt defenseman, in order of projection, that you like, but it's not.
Oh, did you tell Bobby? Did you tell Saul about the Bobby Boom comment he had last week? I know Bobby's in chat right now. So Bobby Boom came into Discord and said that deep pairings line up with whatever line. So if they're a third line defenseman, they're going to line up with the third line of the other team. And I said, well, why the hell are we just playing fourth line, guys? They're going to be out there by themselves. You had me rolling.
Bobby. Let's go on the winger side. Well, at least forward side. I guess we didn't answer the question, are you paying up for defense tonight? Like, I mean, paying up in the Yossi range.
I mean, I personally will be, yeah. I think there's enough guys like in that mid range that you can go mid range, and then you can pay up for a Hughes or Bouchard or whatever, Fox.
I'm gonna be in that. I love that 4K range, so that's where I'm gonna be. Well, probably I have some interest in Morgan Riley, and then it'll be like Montour, Nurse. I think you got to consider Hannafin, Sanderson, even Dunn, Ekblad. I really like that 4K range. Cam York. I think that's kind of where I'm going to live tonight, mix and mesh those guys.
Okay, forwards, because you guys are on a time crunch.
Well, I think it starts with Edmonton, obviously. I think they're the chalk of the slate. As we were talking in our little chat, I think you have to find a way to be different playing Edmonton tonight. You can still play Connor and Hyman and all those guys, but roster construction I think is going to be paramount tonight. And then that's kind of how I'm trying to get different is instead of QP where he's going up to a Bouchard, I'm going to try to stay somewhere in the middle. Probably eat some of that Sergachev chalk and then try to play some of these guys in the middle. I don't mind the Blues tonight, which is extremely gross, but Detroit's been not good. Obviously, the Cats, I think, are in a great spot. They have one of the higher implied team totals on the slate. Vegas, I think, is a decent play. I typically don't like stacking Vegas, but I think Jack Eichel's going to come in really, really low owned tonight against the Flames team on a back-to-back. I think Winnipeg's going to get pumped up with Kyle Connor out just because Ehlers and Velarde are so cheap. So I mean, you compare them with Scheifele for next to nothing and have a full power play one stack.
Eichel burned some people, me, the other night against San Jose. But I think Vegas could easily put up 6 goals tonight on Calgary. Calgary's going back to back, yeah.
Eichel's been great. I mean, I know we make fun of him a lot in our chat. We've got some guys that were around when he was in Buffalo, but I mean, he's been good all year long, and he shoots a ton, gets a ton of ice. He's averaging more fantasy points per game than Connor McDavid is.
The strange thing, Saul, is you're an Austin Matthews guy, even though you're a Rangers guy, and B-Nair is in here right now, the biggest New York fan in the history of RPS or America. Is B-Nair in the bathtub watching this? That's the big thing.
He's standing next to his Daniel Jones cardboard cutout.
I think it's Tommy Cutlets now. I think that's the man. And by the way, 9 points for AJ Dillon last night. Hey, he sucks. No bath right now. Okay, good. So Austin Matthews 9.5, right? One of the top 3 players in the league. 3% owned projection. Do you go this Rangers game tonight?
I am not. I think this is the one that we were talking about going to, and that never happened. It's tempting to play Matthews at 3%. It's like any of these guys. If you get him under 5%, it's tempting because they could get 40. I don't know. For me, there's enough other spots. I would rather play Tampa 1 than play Toronto for the same ownership going into Igor on a back-to-back. So for me, I won't, but that's not something I always kind of think about it. If somebody wins with this lineup, would I be annoyed that they won? And if somebody won with Toronto tonight, I would just kind of shrug and say, okay, yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to click it, but it's fine. It just seems like 10-game slate, I would just go elsewhere.
I would be upset if someone won with Tampa 1 because.
Cool. Good to know. Sorry in advance then.
You're saying you're winning with Tampa 1. Okay. Anything else on the? So what lines are you hitting tonight, or do you like? What games do you like? I mean, Winnipeg is going to be chalky. Winnipeg 1's going to be chalky, as they probably should be. I think Hurdle is still underpriced. Winnipeg's not a great team, but Hurdle, plays his ass off. And we talked about this on our last show, is that we were used to him picking up a hat trick every now and then. And sure enough, here he comes. And he's still, 5.2 tonight, 5.3 in American dollars, QP?
5.4.
Perfect. 5.4 Canadian.
Enough.
Good.
Yeah, I actually like the San Jose side of that game.
Totally.
Quite a bit better than. I mean, Winnipeg 1 is going to be, I think there are going to be, if there's 625 people in this tournament, I wouldn't be surprised if 50 of them were Edmonton 1, Winnipeg 1, and then just some defense and goalie together. So that is something I will not be doing for sure.
Let's go, Saul. I love it. Let's go.
It's funny because the other time we had our show, we had the 25% owned Philly chalk against San Jose, and they were okay.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of funny now, like
And San Jose won, going away.
Yeah, but like even compared to that, like going back in time, I would rather play Philly there than Winnipeg here. I just don't think Ehlers, Scheifele, and Velarde at like 20% ownership is.
Yeah, and if you really want to play the damn Jets, maybe get different and play like Nino, or Nino and Appleton, or somebody cheap that's not going to have any ownership instead of just like Velarde's. What's Velarde's price? Like $3,600.
Yep.
It's a bad price.
Like he's going to be extremely chalky. I think Ehlers is like 49 or right around there. Even Cole Perfetti, who's on the top power play. I mean, DK has him at center, even though he's playing wing now. But he's only $5K, and he's on the top power play. So I mean, I think a lot of people are going to be playing this Jets top power play line, and I'm kind of with Saul. I like the San Jose side of this game.
Hellebuck's not playing. You've got line 1 cheap San Jose, line 2 cheap San Jose, power play cheap San Jose. You've got Addison, who I like, power play 2, 2,900. He does things. I got a dirty look there from Quick Party by saying Addison, but I love Addison. I don't like Addison at 3K. I like him at 2,900.
Even at 2,900, that is a tough play.
It's too much.
I got one worse than that.
I'd love to hear it.
Henry Thrun, our guy.
I mean, if he plays more than 16 minutes,
he will.
Maybe he can get there. But
all right. Well, I was gonna say that I have to run, but now I definitely have to run after the Henry Thrun. So
okay, brother.
Good luck tonight, fellas.
We'll wrap this up quick. Thanks, man. Good luck.
Good luck tonight, Saul.
all
right.
I mean, how do you not like William Eklund at $3,400?
There's a ton of value in that game for sure.
I mean, I'm a big William Eklund stan. I'm a big believer in that kid, but I mean, he's going to play. He's going to play big in it.
4-3 potential game, right? San Jose, 4-2, 4-3. Again, not Hellebuck. They're missing their best player, and San Jose is playing with some heart now. They didn't let Vegas roll them the other night, and Vegas is one of the best teams in the league on the road. And so, what's saying San Jose can't win this game? So, I think you're right. I think people are way too invested in Winnipeg. What are your thoughts?
Isn't San Jose 5-6 at home?
5-6.
I have no idea.
They've won more regular season. Regular time games than the Leafs, I think. Which is more of an indictment of our Leafs.
Yikes.
Yeah.
What were my thoughts on Winnipeg? Was that the question? I forget what you asked me. Yes. I have zero interest in Winnipeg ever. 5 at 5.
The city?
The city sucks too.
Yeah.
I heard they don't have an airport. But no, 5 at 5, their numbers are shit. They're just horrible.
Yeah.
Like, they only get there on power play. And without Kyle Connor, it's just like
San Jose is 5-6 at home.
San Jose's awesome. They've been scoring. All their games are lights out these days. Hurdle's on a hot streak, and that line's insanely cheap. I love Eklund, like you said. In that game, I'm for sure on the Sharks side. I don't get the Winnipeg love at all.
I think that I think people still believe that San Jose is where they were a couple of months ago, and literally this show changed those fortunes 2 months ago against Philly.
Well, I think the best play on the Jets is not any of the guys we even mentioned. If I was playing a Jet, it would be Josh Morrissey.
On the Jets?
Yeah, if I was playing one, I mean, the dude's playing anywhere from 24 to 30 minutes, and they're dead last against D-men in the NHL. Like, if I was gonna play a Jet, it would be Morrissey before I would go to Ehlers or like a Velarde.
There was another one on Was it Schmidt?
Is he in the
Schmidt
lineup?
he hasn't played for a while.
Yeah, I was going to say he's been benched.
Yeah.
He was a top value play somewhere. That needs to change. Yeah, Nate Schmidt is a top value play. I won't say the site. Anything else? What are the top end there, Quick Party? Lines that you like. Will you play off of Edmonton, or do you have to eat it?
I think you just have to go to Edmonton, and you just got to figure out a way to be different elsewhere. There are a lot of good rotations if you don't want to eat the chalk. I love Ottawa. I know I'm a Sens fan, but I think that's I haven't looked at ownership, but I think that's a great spot with Kachuk Norris. They're shooting the lights out, or you could go with Tarasenko line. He's kind of like Hurdle. He's super streaky right now. Tampa, Nashville, the Trocheck line with Panarin. That's another great spot. Those are all kind of the the higher end plays.
Yeah, it's smart to look at bad goalies first. That seems easy, but Martin Jones, back-to-back Leafs in sort of a hostile environment against the Islanders in a big city, and
Yeah, and Martin Jones has a really good projection for us, but it's based on 25 minutes of play this year because he came in for one NHL game, and he's been absolutely shit, like dog water in the minors.
QP, which one of your Sens lines do you like? Are you on the Brady Bunch or the riding the Senko heater?
I think I would go with the Senko Stützle Bath line.
Okay.
But I don't know. I find I get them wrong no matter what. So if I like that one, you should choose the Norris line.
Okay.
Yeah, I think to me the two teams that stood out. I agree with you on the Sens and the Panthers, and I think both of them will be ignored enough in that mid range because they just don't work with Edmonton. Leafs suck, Wiley. You don't have to tell me that in video games. Is that your burner, QP? In the comments.
Nope. I like the Leafs. I think they're fine.
All right. So what's our play of the day? Line, player, defense, goalie. What's your biggest conviction? Maddie?
Jack Drury, probably. I skipped over Maddie, sorry, but Drury on the Canes.
Literally right there in my notes. Drury, 2K.
I think my biggest conviction is you have to play the Oilers. I just don't see any way around it. I would be shocked at the end of the night if the winner doesn't have at least two or three Oilers on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
But unfortunately, it just is what it is. If you want something spicy, if you want a little more spicy take, I'll give you a couple. I don't hate the Blues tonight. The Wings have been absolutely putrid, giving up goals left and right. I don't like that the Blues went into a blender, it looks like, at practice. But, they've been giving up goals left and right. 4 against Montreal, 3 against Buffalo, 6 against San Jose, and 5 against the Sens in their last 4. They've been getting absolutely shelled. And if you want a cheapie that I kind of like tonight, that kind of where QP was talking about, where you see guys starting to pick up minutes and do different things. I think Taylor Radish, if you're looking for a run back in that Blackhawks game, is $2,900 on DK, and he's going to be working that top power play unit, and he gets some PK run. So if you wanted something spicy, there you go, boss.
Radish always shows up as value, always, and I always try not to take the bait. We didn't mention Puustinen, right?
Good
Winger
yeah.
2, 2,600 Pittsburgh.
Good
Yep.
Will be
pronunciation.
popular, but can fill out some lineups at that price.
People really like Pittsburgh tonight, don't they?
They love Pittsburgh against Arizona. Oh, I think because Pustonen makes line 2 affordable with Malkin 6,200, and even line 1's affordable. But Arizona's a good team. I mean, they're not the Arizona of old, and they've got a good goalie in Ingram. Ingram, I would play against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Ingram's been great. I mean, he's been way better than Vegemelka, or however the hell you pronounce his name.
Vegemelka. What do you think about Pittsburgh there, Adam?
I
love it. I love
I
it.
think it's a decent matchup. You know, Zona on a back-to-back on the East Coast trip. But, I mean, Ingram's a much better goalie than Veggie. And I don't know, Pittsburgh's just been really, really disappointing. Their power plays, they haven't scored a power play goal in like 13 games.
I will not be playing any Dumba or Valmaki. You know, people said that in the comment section. If Dumba beats me, that's fine. I've played him too many times at a good price. He's just not the same guy he was when he played with your team there, Matty, with Minnesota. My bigger conviction will be in the Florida territory. I just love Barkov at that price. I mean, it may not be a huge tell or a huge gamble, but I do like Florida. And the absolute, because I have 5 in the 888, and so I'm gonna do a stupid lineup. But Thrun for San Jose, $2,500. He's the only. He's the.
No, just
I mean, you could. I mean,
As soon as I said that in the chat, you're like, "What did you say?"
I said, why? Why?
Not even who, but why?
You know, I don't know. I don't know a ton about him. I mean, it's pretty thin out there tonight when it comes to Stone Min, defenseman. I mean, Braden Paschall's out there for Vegas. He's going to be in tonight. He's $2,500, but he's probably in the same realm of minutes that your guy might see. The only difference is like Vegas, could be up 4-1, and maybe Paschall gets a little more run than Thrun
Thrun
or whoever that. I was like, why? I was just curious. I was like, tell me why.
Why? I said I can't explain why. He's $2,500. You made lineup for him. All right, let's San Jose bring this home. Let's have our Sharks bring this home for us tonight. Good luck tonight. Thank you, boys. I think it was good. We'll do this more often. I think there's another one. There's another contest coming up. They're trying to fill. Maybe
there's
March.
one coming in February.
February.
They have 555 Saddies going on today.
Oh yeah. Our boy Nuggets just picked up a couple of those.
There you go. And you got a qualifier tonight. I think Mangone's in the qualifier.
I saw that. What, 465 for a seat? I was gonna hop in it, but then I saw Mangone was in there. I didn't want to have to whoop him.
If Mangone gets a hockey seat tonight, I will be very, very happy for him. All right, boys. Thank you so much. We're gonna close it out. Let's get some wins. Go back to the Discord. Hey, Giblets 44. NHL is a great sport to play. It's a lot of fun. I think it's easily one of our best channels. There's so much activity in there. So come meet the boys. We got all this data for you. Saul's in there. Matty Ice, EJ, QP, all of us. Me periodically in and out. Bobby Boom is in there. All right, guys. Wait, I was supposed to have this video set up. There we go.